Hey everyone, doing a review of the ATN NVGs. This model here is the ATN NVG-7 CGT, which is the Generation 2 Plus intensifier tube. Been using these for the last few months. I posted a quick little video not too long ago, just kind of showing that I had it and I was excited, and kind of went through a little brief rundown of it. I wanted to do a little bit more detail this time. So this is the box it comes in. Comes with a headset, head strap, fully adjustable. She's pretty comfortable, keeps it on pretty well, keeps it snug to your head. Have a case. Loop it on your belt or pack or whatever, or just lift it or put it on your shoulder. One thing I wish it had a little compartment for the batteries. I've been kind of sticking them in here, which works pretty well, but there's no zipper or enclosure so they could fall out if I wasn't watching what I was doing. So that's one thing I wish this pack had, is just a little accessory thing, but it's not even a big deal. Splitting hairs. And here are the night sights themselves, night vision goggles. Let me tell you, they are a blast. I love them. They are so fun, and they're actually extremely useful, I've found. Let me show you just real quick how they mount on the head strap, headpiece. They slide. First off, you loosen up this right here. Then they slide over. Then there's a button right here, and you press that, and then they fit in. So with just that alone, they slide back and forth, but they wouldn't come off. So then you put them on, and then you adjust them by tightening this knob right here. Okay. Then once you have them on, once this is on your head, press this button right here, and then they come down and they fit over. And if you need to lift them up, you can. So this here uses the dual eyepiece which is supposed to help with the extended viewing. Supposedly creates less eye fatigue. And it has a focus right here. It's supposed to have super fast lenses for optimal focus. Or excuse me, optimal resolution. So then you just turn this for, if stuff is different distances out or whatever. It has the lens piece here. It's got a little hole in the end. So this piece here, it protects your eyepiece, but it also allows you to use it in higher light conditions. You can even turn these on in daylight and use them if this cap is on. And you might ask, what's the purpose of using night vision goggles during the daylight? It's more just to kind of test them out, so you can do, operating, make sure they're operating perfectly and everything else before you actually need them at night. That's pretty much most of the purpose for that. Has a little strap here so you would not lose them. Has a built-in infrared illuminator right here, which is basically a flashlight that nobody can see unless you're wearing night vision goggles. To operate this, you press the button once, quick press, and that turns it on. If you want to use the IR illuminator, you press and hold until it comes on. Okay, and then there's a little, when you're looking through the eyepiece, there is a little red light that comes on when the IR illuminator is on. And then there's also a blinking red light, which is the battery, low battery indicator. So first time you wear these, when you put them on, you adjust them, the focus with your eyes right here, find a fixed object, focus them, and then you're ready to go. I don't wear glasses or anything, so it's pretty easy to focus them. And then you use this front one here that I've already showed you for the when stuff is at different distances and stuff like that. And it takes a CR123 battery, and it apparently doesn't use much juice, because I've been using this for a while and it still works. So, and then it also comes with this adapter here, so you can actually use AA batteries with it also. These have an automatic brightness control tool. If you've ever used night vision goggles, you'll know that light is never uniform. You might think it is with just your eyes, But when you turn these on, you see that it's not. And for example, when you're walking through a neighborhood, some people might have on porch lights, some people have interior lights, stuff like that. And this allows the brightness control allows it to stay at mostly the same intensification. You'll always see it adjusting pretty much constantly, the brightness level, but it keeps it pretty much uniform. So I've used these quite a bit when I'm walking the dog. In my neighborhood we have no street lights, so it's pitch black, and these work really well. And we have a park with some woods, and you have to get through the woods to get to the park, so it's even more dark going through that. And I use these. It's really handy. Very handy. I really like it. You can use these for home security. You can keep them next to your nightstand if you want. I've used these for hunting also. I used them last weekend and they worked really well. The only downside, I didn't see any animals, so I couldn't really test it and see if there's any deer. But it worked really well. And I believe it would see the deer pretty well, because I've used it like with my dog when my dog has gotten out of my yard, and he really stands out. He's a brown haired dog, and most of the grass and stuff like that looks pretty white through here, almost like snow, so he really stands out. So the contrast is good. So I do believe if you were to use this to view wildlife, you would see them very well. I used it hunting to get to and from my tree stand, which worked really well. The only problem is there was no moon. It was completely cloudy, so there was no moon, no starlight, no nothing. So it was pitch black, and these helped me to see. However, I couldn't see, optimally to get through the woods with branches and stuff like that. So if there was a little bit of light out, maybe a few stars and the moon, it would have worked perfectly. Unfortunately, there wasn't. So, and that's pretty much it for now. If you've never tried these, I would recommend trying to get your hands on them. I know a lot of stores like Cabela's, Gander Mountain, some of the big box retailers actually have them, and you can try them on and use them. And the ones that have these caps, you can use that, and you can turn them on in daylight, kind of take a look at them. These here, the MSRP on these are $2,000, so these are pretty pricey compared to a lot of the other units. But I've looked at those, the Gen 3s and stuff like that, even the Gen 2s. I can tell a big difference between this Gen 2 and the Gen 3s, and even the Gen 2s, other Gen 2s that are out there. This is a Gen 2 Plus. I can tell a huge difference. So for those, there's the $200-300 models, you can definitely tell the difference between that and this. This here feels the quality of this, and the ruggedness of it feels just like the ones I used in the Marines. It's definitely military grade hardware. The only difference, of course, being that those are a newer generations, the ones the military uses. Other than that, they're pretty identical, I believe. But I would definitely recommend, just playing with them, getting your hands on some. And even if you can't afford the $2,000 ones, I think even some of those, the cheaper ones, the lower end ones on the market, I think you'd even find some use in those. So check them out. If you have any questions, let me know. Semper Fi. Here's my front yard. There's some Christmas lights up. Alright, y'all. This picture right here is through my iPhone, using that as a camera. It's hard to, I try to use my regular camera that I use for most of my shoots, my Canon, but it's a full-size DSLR, and it's kind of hard to get the lens in. Hard to get it to look through the NVG lenses. So I'm trying this. Seems to be working pretty well. Just to give you an idea. This is my yard here. You've probably seen it in some of my other videos. Now this is not exactly focused as well as it can focus. It's kind of tricky
using my picture here. It's kind of tricky getting the NVGs focused with the camera and getting the camera focused on distances. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But the image looking through my NVGs is just a little bit more crisp, a little bit more clear than what you're seeing right now. What you're seeing right now is still pretty good, pretty decent. You can see my camera, the iPhone, focusing in and out. And just to give you an idea, this is how dark it is right now. See that house right there? You see those two lights? That's what you're seeing through the NVGs. If I can re-show it here. There we go. That house, you see it just like that. That's how dark it is. Those are the Christmas lights across the street. They're really bright looking through the NVGs. And one thing that's important with NVGs, you want to make sure to remember you don't point these directly at light when it's dark. It's not a good idea. It's not good for the NVGs. So you don't point them right at the light. These lights here are actually not that bright, so I mean you can point them at here, but like if you're outside walking around and a car drives by with headlights or something like that, you don't really want to, you kind of want to look away with your NVGs.